Hi, everybody. Everyone coming in. Some of you might be here for the first time, and if that's you, welcome. I know we're getting a lot of new people now. It's great. We love that you're here. Of course, we're sad for the reason why you're here, but we're really delighted to meet you, and we hope that you will find this a place support, and also, can I put it, not just support, it's like, I hope you see that us as your family. I know this group is going to get bigger and bigger. So, we want to keep that feeling there, but we know at some point it's going to be a little challenging. But if we have anything to say about it, we will do our best to make it that way. But for now, let's get to the topic of believing is your only challenge. And why do I say that? That's because the only obstacle you really face has to do with your limiting beliefs. So if you doubt, first of all, doubt that the afterlife is real, which I understand. If you doubt that, that's going to make it difficult, right? Understandable, and it's understandable. So your beliefs are going to either limit you, block you, or open the door wide, okay? Because that's what you're doing already, creating your reality from your beliefs. So you have to, I was going to say you might want to, but Alan goes, no, you have to. You're really not going to have a choice, but to open your mind and at least see what happens without having any restriction on there. He's saying just being open-minded is enough. You don't have to be completely convinced. You just have to be like 51% in that area of believing or having trust, having faith, right? Rather than saying 51% negative. It sounds silly, but it really is to that degree, right? If you're 1% over leaning in that direction, that's enough to at least open the door a crack. You have to be at least open-minded, hopefully be fully open and believing, and then you open the door to the spirit world, to their side. Otherwise, your doubts just pinch off the connection. Every time you have an experience and you say, oh, maybe I'm making that up, you basically close the door. Alan's showing me you literally close the door. Like, okay, that never mind. And spirit, Kim, we're talking about your guides than your loved ones, because your loved ones will be persistent. But your spirit guides, your higher guidance, if you're not listening to it and taking action and embracing it, it doesn't get stronger. They don't give you more guidance. Okay, that's just how it works. Because when you take action, then you're saying, I hear you. I'm doing my best with it. Okay, I'm on it. And they'll give you more, okay, and more. But they only give you what you can handle in this moment. Now, I said a moment ago, your loved ones are more persistent, and that's true. Like they'll try to keep nudging, keep nudging you, keep doing something. And okay, now they're saying to me that a lot of times you folks are distracted. So they're trying to come through. You may get some of the signs, you may not get all of them. It depends how aware you are of your surroundings, of where you're at emotionally, and again, how much you trust and believe, and how little doubt you have. But I want you to understand that you can't get rid of that little voice of doubt completely, because you're in a body. So let's talk about where that comes from and why it seems so much easier to listen to those doubts. Okay, first you have to understand that is part of your programming. You've been given that from your family, your parents, your teachers, your peers, society. You don't look out in the world and see a lot of support for believing in the afterlife, do you? Why do you think that is? So because of that, that's what you're up against. It's not like on every street corner, people are going, yeah, did you talk to your dead relative today? I mean, nobody's really talking about this except people like you and me in these kind of groups, right? Privately. So that is what you're up against. I don't want it to seem like it's such a big thing, because actually that's becoming less of a problem because more people are open to the whole concept of not only the afterlife, but even communication. That's why we have so many even Netflix shows and what other channels are on, about mediums that have their own TV shows now. And that's been going on for a while, but now they're actually Netflix series like the Hollywood Medium and you name it. So this is becoming a much wider understood thing, right? So more people get it. And even if they're not sure, even if they doubt it, it's having more exposure. So the more exposure there is to a subject, the more the walls that people have start breaking down a bit. That's just how it is, because people go, well, there's a TV show about it, can't be completely crazy, or there wouldn't be a TV show about it. That legitimizes it. Of course, there'll always be people who are just going to be completely skeptical, completely cynical, and fine, we don't care about them. We're talking about people who are open-minded, and the fact that a lot of people are actually having their own contact, and I hear from them constantly. So we know that through the sharing of this anecdotal stories on Facebook and other social media, mainly probably Facebook, where there are groups like ours, where people are actually saying, well, this is what happened to me, or look at this photo, does that look like something? There's an image there. So people are commenting, yeah, I think I see a person, or I see an energy, or orbs, and all those things are being shared. This wasn't happening before Facebook, was it? Sure, there were message boards, and I belonged to some of them. And one of them that I was part of was run, but one wasn't run. It was a very famous New Age teacher's message board. But we couldn't post photos. Like, it was just comments. That's all you could do, is post a comment. And people were talking and sharing and saying about all their experiences with the other side, with their angels, in this case, angels and guides. In that group, it wasn't about loved ones in spirit. But now, oh my goodness, you go to the Proof of Life After Death group, which I'm in, and I've become friends with Rita, the owner of the group. And everybody's like, here's the photo. What do you think that is? Everyone's sharing their experiences. Oh, I think I had this visitation dream, or my father passed away and he came to me and he hugged me, or my partner did, and on and on and on. So you don't have to look very far to find people sharing about their experiences, right? So that is cracking the door open. So I would suggest, if you want contact through the veil, that you just adopt that open attitude. Nothing scary is going to happen to you. That's just your belief that you've assumed or taken on, again, from somebody else, maybe from your ancestors, maybe from your parents, maybe you've watched too many scary movies, and you're just afraid of the other side. If you have fear of the other side, yes, that's going to be a problem. That is probably the one problem that I think I've encountered with people when I work with them to help them connect, is if they're really afraid, it closes the door. So that you have to understand that. So if you have that fear, then you just need to dismantle that. And I would suggest you just look at other people's, experiences, like I said, that's on social media that they've written about or sharing, and ask yourself, if this is so crazy, if this is so out there, why are all these people talking about it? And now Alan's laughing at me, saying, just like the UFOs. Like almost everybody has seen a UFO. I know I have. And pretty soon we are going to have concrete evidence. That's what's been said. In about, I think it was 3 or 4 years, there's going to be direct contact. So that's going to blow everybody's mind. And I don't know, I think that this will actually help the people who are looking for proof of even the afterlife, because if you could get that wrong, you could get that completely wrong, that yes, there are other beings, other entities that are not of this world, that are here, have always been here. Well, what about the other side? How's that possible? All these other people are completely hallucinating. Is the whole world hallucinating? If so, then I think that's the real world. If that's the case. And the people who are not having the experience are in the fake world. Well, we know they're in the fake world. So your doubts are going to be with you. And all I can suggest is that you understand why that's there, that it's your programming. And when it comes up, and it will, okay, that's coming from your ego that wants to keep you safe. So it doesn't understand anything non-physical, anything paranormal, anything that it is not logical, that in its mind isn't fact-based, meaning 3D based. Okay, it does not accept it. It's going to perceive it on some level as a threat to you. That's what it's there for, to say, I'm keeping you safe from everything that I know in this reality. Okay, so what it doesn't know in the other reality, it's going to like throw up a red flag. You cannot expect your conscious mind, your ego self, to ever accept that there is an afterlife. The best you can hope for is it just kind of quiets down and says, okay, you're having that experience. All right, I'll just sit on the side. I'll be a little bit more docile. Okay, but it's not going to go away completely. Okay, it's just not created for that. You need that ego human self for this human experience because you took on a personality. Some call it a persona. It's who you are in this life, but that is not the real you. I want to repeat that. Your personality, your persona, who you think you are with your beliefs, opinions, and all that, is not the real you. The real you is your higher self, your God self, the you that is there on the other side right now with your loved ones, that stays there, but only expresses a part of themselves into your physical body because you're multidimensional and you express yourself into all different types of bodies and realities. I know that's too big for some of you to comprehend. As we talk about realities, the true nature of reality, more deeply in our academy, we can kind of deal with those questions. But the truth is, you are much greater than your ego personality. And that's why when your loved one passed away, they merged with who they really are, dropped their ego personality, kept some of it so you'd recognize them. Otherwise, you'd say, who the heck are you? Like, you're so much different. You're so much nicer. Not that they weren't nice before, but they could be much more detached, more neutral. And then you and I would say, well, who are you? You don't even seem like a human. You seem a little too perfect. And we want the person that we knew then loved. And so they know that. So they keep some of their personality. But really, the whole personality construct is just temporary. There's so much more than that. You and me, we're so much more than that. So the more you lean into that, understanding that I am God, I am my higher self, I am this expanded being. I'm not going to say that you're perfect because even on the other side, we're still learning and growing. There's no state that we reach where we're perfect. We're perfect because perfect, as it's defined, means that there's nothing beyond that, right? That's perfect. How can you improve on perfect? You can't. So you don't ever reach a state of perfection. You just reach a state of being more and more expanded, more of who you are. Okay. So why not be that real you now? Because you signed up for that. All of us signed up for that, to become more of who we really are, to live as who we really are. And when you do that, then the ego self, your doubts, your fears, they will still be there a little bit. For some of you, might have a lot there, but it'll get softer. That little voice of doubt and worry and fear can just be a little softer. So the more that you affirm that you are God, that you are your higher self, that you are all that you can be, that you're truly free to be you unapologetically, just be you, don't do anybody else, just do you, then you can connect more easily to the other side. Now, that said, there are people connected to the other side who are very distorted. I want to make this really clear. I'm not saying that, oh gosh, you have to be your higher self or you cannot go through the veil. Okay, we know that's not true. There are many people who are, I must say, emotionally distorted. I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm just saying that they have a lot of fears, they have a lot of issues, they have a lot of doubt, they even have a lot of anger and trauma they haven't processed. And yet they can see spirit and have experience of that nature, okay? But they're not necessarily having a wonderful life. They're not necessarily having an easy time in the 3D world. Even if they see the other side, that is not necessary. It's not like you have to be this exalted being. Okay. We are suggesting you take the path of spiritual development because we know that that will improve your life. So we want you to have it all, not just to have this connection with your loved one in spirit, but to actually have a great life on top of that. Like, wouldn't you want to have everything? Do you want to just settle for, okay, I can talk to them, but my life still sucks. I'm still really broke, or I'm just so depressed, or I'm so angry at everybody. They want us to be happy. They want us to be as, fulfilled and joyful, even if they're not with us physically, because they can be with us in spirit and they can participate in our lives. They want that for us because we're here. Why? And they know we can have that. So why not? If all you want is to develop yourself psychically, you can do that. You can take mediumship courses and you can do that. They won't necessarily help you evolve on a soul level. They just won't. I'm saying they just won't. Most of them, okay? There are always exceptions, but most of them won't. So you could find yourself having this contact, but still feeling really frustrated, still feeling like your life isn't going the way you'd like it to, and feeling very, okay, he's telling me, you'd feel rather kind of mixed. You'd feel like, this is great. I feel this connection. I can tell this is my loved one, but then here's my 3D life, and I'm really struggling there. I don't know what to do about that. I'm still fearful, or I'm still angry. I still don't understand who I am. I'm not healthy, and on and on and on. So just understand that there is this other path that we're offering that's a little bit, I would literally just say higher, just higher path, because we're holding it out to you as a path of spiritual evolution that includes connecting with your loved one through the veil. But again, your doubts are the main thing you have to contend with. Now, related to the doubts, okay, some of you had very difficult relationships with your partners or family members, that there was a lot of suffering you endured. Maybe they were very abusive, or like sometimes in some cases you might have been abusive too, right? So you could have guilt and shame and remorse about that. Certainly they will have that on their end. I promise you that anyone who's crossed over the other side who did abuse anybody, hurt anybody, they are faced with that. No judgment about it, but they see through their life review what they did, and they're always remorseful. They're always trying to make amends. So I don't think that they got off scot-free with that. It's they get where they took a wrong step, and they're trying to work things out on their end, but it's difficult because you might not be willing to listen to them, right? You might not be willing to forgive. You're not ready yet. So that will be a barrier too. So you have to work through that for your sake, not for their sake. That would be secondary. I mean, yes, they would like you to forgive them, not, I was saying, really not for their sake, not at all, not for their sake, for your sake, because they feel even worse that you are still suffering with that you're still struggling with that. They see that they hurt you when they hurt you, and now you're still dealing with the pain. So they're doubly concerned because they can't make it right, and they want to make it right so that you will be happy. because that's important to them. So dealing with our, our own resentment, our own anger, our own self-judgment too, if we felt we did something we shouldn't have, please understand that whatever happened for a reason, because there are no accidents. I know it seems like there was an accident when it came to their passing perhaps, or what you did or they did or what have you. Circumstances were what they were, but there are no coincidences in this life. There are no accidents. And people leave when they leave for some reason that their ego self, personality self, doesn't understand. The higher self, the soul that they are, is the one that was ultimately in charge. The same goes for you and me. Okay, it's our higher self is the one that's really leading the way. Our personality self can kind of interfere with that. But when it comes to things like, when are we going to leave this world? When are we going to exit? It's always done on a soul level. Okay, trust me, if a soul is not meant to exit, like it's premature, there is such thing as divine intervention. There is such thing as the person, and I don't want to get too into the whole concept of reality shifting, but people can, on one level, technically die in one reality, and yet, and not, and then decide not to, like in another reality. So part of them does die, and yet they continue. Or sometimes they do die, like, some people have the near-death experience. Some people actually do die and they don't come back, right? Other people with NDEs, they have a near-death experience and they return. Well, the soul's always given a choice. And so sometimes the soul says, okay, I'm not done. I want to come back, or I want to shift into the reality. Or it says, I'm done. But it's always on that level. And if it's not their time, again, if it's not their time to go, there could be actually physical intervention, meaning, like, I've heard many stories of people saying, like, something happened, like all of a sudden, where they were pulled back from the train track where they're going to jump, and get run over by a train, and they felt this force pull them back, or somebody came up to them and stopped them, and all kinds of things, okay, can prevent something from happening. I was driving with a friend in her convertible, this little Miata convertible. If I don't know if they make them anymore, but it's really small. Okay, like, I'm driving her Miata convertible in Honolulu, and we're driving. She's pulling into this intersection, and all of a sudden she stops. Now my friend is very psychic, and I turned to her. I was about to say, "Why did you stop?" When this car ran the stop light, speeding, and it would have slammed into us. Well, in a convertible, but that's pretty much, death trap. So, I mean, we probably would have been dead. And I said, well, why did you stop? She goes, I don't know. I have no idea. She just put her foot on the brake, started going, then put her foot on the brake, and that was prevented. Okay, so I'm just using an example that if it's not your time to go, it's not you're not meant to have that accident. That's not going to happen. Spirit has a way of intervening, okay, of just giving you the impulse to put your foot on the brake, or to have you feel this force pulling you back out of harm's way. That's happened so many times to me and other people that I've worked with, clients. So I know that that's the reality. So people go when they go. Now, of course, we're grieving and saying, but how could they leave me? They know how much I love them and I'm devastated, etc. I get it. I went through that. Many of you are going through that right now. I understand. But on a soul level, on the other side, you knew that this was going to happen and decided, all right, there's something we're going to learn from this, or there's something that we're going to maybe even teach other people. Maybe you're here to teach other people through example about immortality, that you're going to forge this relationship with your loved one through the veil and be talking about it, or even tell one person about it. It doesn't mean you have to go out there and tell the world. Maybe you're going to tell just one person or two people, and that's going to change their life. And you signed up for that. Sometimes we endure things for other people, either in our life, like friends and family, or even complete strangers, because we're all part of each other's lives. We're all one. So whatever the reason is, you'll understand it more fully when you do return to their side. But if you're experiencing this right now, there is a higher reason. And I know it's really, really difficult. And at the same time, I hope you see that you're living at a time when there's a lot of support, more so than there's ever been before, like our group. So it's a different time that we're living in. You are going to get more support, and you're going to find that this journey, if you really embrace it and give it time, work through your grief, that it'll get easier. You'll always have this bittersweet feeling about your partner not being here, but I promise you, it is going to get better. It is. And I see that with our people in our academy and other people in our group here too, but especially people in our academy who are really, Alan's saying, more immersed in the energies that we're bringing through, because we work with them deeply every week, and now we're affirming for them that this is a brand new thing. We'll talk about that more, very soon. But we started what we call our supernatural manifestation project. So it's been really exciting. I mean, really, we're only getting started. So we know that because we're all one, and because all of us are God, that when we come together, there's just more power to manifest, to break down any barriers or obstacles, any fears, any walls. And most importantly, it increases the love that we can feel and that we can share. And it really does make it a lot easier to reach through the veil and make contact, because it raises our vibration. So we're really excited to see what miracles we can create. I've invested a lot in my own, let's say, advanced manifestation training. I'll just call it that, where I'm working with a manifestation coach. And that my coach is helping me manifest for our group, our academy. I told my academy that. I said, I have a coach who's helping me manifest for you. So you're really getting two coaches for the price of one, because I am determined to do everything I humanly can to help you and myself, okay, it's for me too, but to help all of us break through the veil, tear down that veil, and have a connection, because it's time. We're living in the time of the ascension for that reason. It is going to be much easier for those who come after you and I to embrace their divine self and be all that they are, and live without fear, and know that they don't have to lose their loved one when they cross over. I really believe there will come a day when people go, oh yeah, my mother passed away. I miss her physically, but I just talked to her like 5 minutes ago. And she told me this, she told me that, and she reminded me of the recipe that she was going to give me that she forgot to give me. And now she's telling me at the end of I mean, I just think it's going to become like common. Okay. Like so common. Like when my friend Swati came to visit me, in February when our book launched, and I'd go to bed really early. She stays up till like 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay. I go to sleep like at 9 or 10. And so when I was sleeping, she's by herself in my house, and she couldn't find things. So she'd go, Alan, where does Pam keep her scissors? Oh, she keeps it over here next to this. Or where can I find, does she have any turmeric? Because she wanted to use some turmeric for something. Yeah, it's in the cupboard behind the cinnamon. Like on and on and on. He just told her where everything was. And she said he was the perfect host. And when she told me that, I laughed and I said, yeah, he's such a good ghost host, perfect ghost host. And she says, yeah, he was. She says, he was totally entertaining, and he told her where everything was. And he was really behaving himself, because normally he's always teasing her and being a little bit of a brat. They're like brother and sister. But she says, he was so nice to me. I thought that was cracked me up. She goes, I think because he's so happy that I'm here with you, and he's being really sweet to me. She says, yes, he was helping me, showing me everything was, and making her feel comfortable. So I believe that that's going to be commonplace. People are going to say, yes, well, why? I mean, I miss that they're not here in a body, but I can talk to them anytime. I can see them anytime. More so than when they were in a body, because You couldn't see them all the time when they're in a body. If it was your mother, your daughter, your husband, like they had to go to work, they had their own life to live, they were busy, they were distracted, on and on, right? They were workaholic maybe. So you weren't always talking to them, were you? Now I can talk to Alan anytime. He's always here. Sometimes I go, would you just like quiet down a little bit? Because he'll get like a little insistent in the grocery store. Well, how about you buy this? No, I don't want to buy that. Why not? Look, that's on sale. I don't care that it's on sale. I don't want to eat that. You want to eat that. Maybe I'll buy it next time. So you'll have these conversations, and you'll have these experiences with them that no, they're not physical. And I get how you're going to miss them on that level. But once you shift into this new reality, Kate, you'll understand that this is extraordinary. Nothing short of extraordinary, but it all comes down to your belief. Okay. So if you have a negative belief about it, just know that that's a belief, and the belief can be changed. That's why in our academy, we work a lot with affirmations. I mean, people affirm, because when you affirm something, then your subconscious eventually will just surrender and say, okay, that's the truth. That's the truth. You are God, or the afterlife is real. Okay, I get it. And it's going to deliver to you evidence of your belief. That is how your subconscious works. It only delivers you experiences that match what you really believe. So if you don't have those experiences yet, all it means is you don't believe that yet, or you don't want to believe it at all. And so you won't. And that's why we always say, believing is seeing, not seeing is believing. You have to believe if you want to see. Okay, you can't say, I want to see it before I believe it. It doesn't work that way, because what you see is what you already believe. Do you get it? You only can see what you believe. And that's why we say believing is your only challenge. That's it. Really, that's it. So if you just affirmed, meaning repeated a statement over and over, that I can see my loved one in spirit, if you repeated that over and over and over and over, and manifestation teachers say about 10,000 times you say that statement, your subconscious accepts it. Now, it might be a little long, take a little longer for some people. It might be happen a little faster for other people, but roughly it's 10,000 times. You say that statement 10,000 times, it anchors into your subconscious. The subconscious then says, okay, you believe. And it'll start to open up the door to that. That's if you don't already believe. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with that. And Alan's saying, and by the way, if you really want to do the 10,000, count that, like, go for it. You can go on Amazon, and they have these counting things, like you see at Costco when they count you, people come in the door, right? Count. You can get one of those little counter devices. I don't know how much it costs. I think it costs like $12 or something. But you could actually just sit there and just start counting your statements. We don't really do that. I have another plan to do, but I don't really do that. But you can do that. I know people who do that. They actually literally count their statement. Okay. And here's the thing. If you believe what I just told you, it will come true too. If you believe, and trust me, this is based on some research. I'm not pulling this out of the air. This is research people have done on manifestation 10,000 times. Okay, but if you believe that and you reach that 10,000, you really believe that, it's got to manifest, because everything comes down to belief. If you believe that you can manifest a relationship through the veil just through affirming, through belief, you will do it, because you are God and you set the rules, and the universe has to give that to you. Okay, that's how it works for everybody, no exception. Everyone's getting the reality, the life that they currently believe. And what you're seeing right now is a reflection of your history, what you believed in the past. So if you're changing your beliefs, it's going to take some time for it to show up. While you're doing the 10,000 count, you're building a bridge to that new reality. So don't doubt. If you do that, don't doubt, persevere. Don't say to yourself, how come it's not happening? It's not happening yet. Have faith, keep counting, keep persisting without being negative. Because I'm saying, what else do you have to do? What else are you doing? You could turn on, okay, I'm going to close with this. There's so much to say about this, but this is why we do it in our academy. You could sit and watch, let's choose a movie that you like, that you've seen a million times. So you don't have to listen to it because you know how it goes. Put on that movie, okay? Mute the movie, turn down the volume completely. And maybe have your counter, or maybe you have some other way to count your affirmations. They're different devices, different tools, apps, but you could have that counter, right? And then just start you could think it in your mind silently, or you could say it out loud, your affirmation through the whole movie. There you go, 90 minutes or 2 hours of affirming, and you're just watching your movie. Okay, but you have to actively affirm. You have to say the words or think the words, right? Think it, think it, think it, keep thinking it, repeating it robotically. It goes into your subconscious. The subconscious doesn't always absorb what you just hear like on a recording, because that's more passive. So if you would record your voice saying that and just listen to it without actively repeating it along with the recording, it's not the same thing. Otherwise, you'd be programmed by people all the time, because people are talking to you all the time, aren't they? And listening to people all the time, but you don't, you just tune them out. You go, yeah, that's my mother again. I'm just going to tune her out. So you don't, but what you say goes into every cell of your body. So there, I gave an assignment. Go do that. Go get those counters and then tell me what happens. But if you really want us to manifest for you, join our academy, because we're on fire and we're going to manifest tearing down the veil. And with everybody that's in our academy, we know we're going to do it because there's power in numbers. So that's why we created the academy. Even if I had won the lottery, I would be doing this because that's my passion. And even if I won the lottery, I couldn't give it away for free, because one of the universal laws is you get what you put out. What you put out comes back. So it cannot be like, it's free for everybody, because then people do not value it. And Alan's saying it has to be exchange of energy. But we are serious about accommodating as many people as we can into the academy. It's basically a coaching program where I coach and I help you manifest. And there's some training there, but it's not like you have to come in there and like be with everybody, go through the training at the same time. We're going to have workshops coming up periodically, but it's really me coaching and helping you manifest this relationship, because that's primarily what everybody is in our group for, our academy for. What I realize now is those classes and things, they're more permission slips. They're more like giving your conscious mind a reason to be open-minded about it. Look, I take a course. See, this is real. I took a course. But what I have come to understand is, you know what? You don't even need that. You just need to believe and need to be around other people who affirm to you the same thing. So we do. We will affirm for you and tell you that you can do this, and then you can. It's as simple as that. I was saying, this is the lazy person's path to enlightenment. Affirmation. Not completely lazy, because you do have some work, but you don't have to go through, I don't know, years of training, or I don't know, go to the Arthur Findlay in college for mediumship for 4 years. Like, if that's, want to do that for fun, it makes you happy, go for it, but you don't have to do that. You just have to believe. He's saying all those trainings are just to convince the mediums that they believe, because now they say, I went through the training and then I believe. But if you're God and you know that, you'll get the download and you'll know what you need to know. I promise you that. You will be able to just tap in and have this understanding. You don't have to get it secondhand from a teacher who got it from somebody else who got it from somebody else. This is not to put down training at all. If your heart is on fire to do that training, go for it. That means you're guided to do it. So don't let me or anybody stop you. But if you're not, then look at what other ways there are. Okay. Alan's laughing, he says, you and I tend to want to take the easy road and have more fun. But we get there. He says, we got there in our 35 years of working with spirit. So anyway, okay, I didn't get to look at your chat. So I hope if anybody asks me a question they want to answer, I'll go back and look later. But that's all for now, because I need to get off, because at let's say 1:30 my time, I'm going to be teaching in the academy, and I want to do my affirmations for my group before we get on the meeting. Okay, because I affirm 3 times a day, 5 days a week for our academy members. And guys, I know a lot of my academy members are right here, right now. Guys, I can't promise that I'm not going to do it on, 6 days a week, because I just love it. It's so addicting. It's so addicting to affirm for you and feel all this love. And I see the other side, and I see the angels come in. I just say, oh my God, this is just amazing. So I'm having so much fun, and I think all of us are going to have a blast. So if that sounds like it's interesting to you, then, let me know. Reach out to me in the group. You can reach out to me, Pam at supernaturallove.com, if you have questions about the Academy, or go to our website, supernaturallove.com, and there's information about the Academy. And no, you don't have to start at a certain time. Somebody asked me just now, like, well, if I'm joining now and it's already going, like, am I going to be behind? No, there's no behind. There's no behind. You just jump in, and we'll work with you. And yes, there's some other videos and things you can watch, but we're pretty much circle back and cover things again, because we're mastering this, right? So you kind of have to repeat. Don't just cover something one time and you're done. That's just not the way. That's why taking single courses really don't work. They just don't. They can be fun. You have a great time. And afterwards you're like, oh, and the people usually don't do much with it. So Spirit told me people need coaching, like ongoing, maybe not for the rest of their life, but they need it ongoing for it to become really anchored, because this is a lifestyle. This is not just take this class and you're done. This is take this class and get more coaching, or get, fine tune it, or get your questions answered as they're happening. So that's our perspective. I'm just doing what I was guided to do. So thanks for joining me. That's all. Like 45 minutes has got to be tops for me when I do. Thank you, everybody. And if you're new to the group, like I said, we're so happy to connect with you. And guys, if you want to unmute and say goodbye, I'd like to hear your lovely voices. I'm going to look at the screen and see some of your faces. I know a lot of people have their camera off. So hi, everybody. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Kim. Hi, Venus. Hi, Gail. Sherry, Anne, Marie, Cindy. I try to get everybody. Anne, Stephanie, Patricia, Chuck.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, Lauren. Elizabeth.
In a little while.
Alex. Yes, see some of you in a little bit, right? I got to affirm for you first. Okay, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the affirmations we're doing, manifestations for you. So thank you, everybody. See you next time. Okay, lots of love. Take care. Bye-bye.